Who is Kalen DeLoach?
For me, I say I'm more of a quiet, laid-back person. I like to spend time with my family, hang out with a few friends, and just being me, and just growing in different aspects of life through communication, through my physical aspect, my mental aspect, and just trying to develop into who I want to become.
So what kind of hobbies do you have, man?
For me, I just say I like to go bowling. I'm a good bowler. I just started taking walks, and I feel like that just helped with my mental aspect, just to free myself from thinking so much. And my pop just ordered me some books this week to read, so I'm about to get into that.
Okay.
Got to expand the knowledge.
All right, so Kalen, man, tell us a little bit, how do you break down an opponent's offensive scheme during film study? And what specific keys do you look for pre-snap?
For me, when I watch film on opponents, first thing I look at is formations. So I see what they come out in, and so whether it's 2x2, 3x1, and just understanding the alignments of how people line up. Through like the running back, I look at running back alignments to whether if he's Linda, Wanda, or just any alignments, and then also I look at the quarterback, his stance. Sometimes the quarterback stance may give away certain indicators for certain plays, and I look at how he come out the huddle, how he approach the play. Like some quarterbacks, certain pass plays, they'll wipe their towel before they about to throw the ball, or some quarterbacks just, if they'll run the ball, they might just lick their fingers to, give it to the running back. Like I said, I look for all the little things, and there's also the O-lineman. I look from guard to guard, and then I also look from tackle to tackle. Because pass game, while tackles got to get in kick slide stances, and some guards may be light on their fingers when they get in their pass blocks, or if they pulling. So I just look for all those indicators, and just apply it in my game, and hopefully I can use it to my advantage.
Okay, so it's not just you put the pads on and you out there hitting people, right? So you're paying attention to the small details and nuances, and it helps you get a competitive edge on how you're going to act on the play, right?
Yeah, because if I get good pre-snap reads, then I can understand how the play is going to develop or which way they may go. And like I say, I understand the splits of receivers. They might be condensed splits to bring in extra blockers, or they might be wide splits to understand, like, okay, this might be a pass play, this might be something on the perimeter. So I just get all my mental notes, and then when the ball snap, I read my keys and I just go where the ball is.
All right, Kayla, can you walk us through your process of diagnosing run versus pass within the first 2 seconds of the snap? What's going on?
So for me, how I diagnose a play is like so fast. Like I said, I look at from guard to guard. I look at O-line stances. So for me, if I know like this guard maybe high on his fingers, or he may not put his hand down at all. So to understand that and look at that pre-snap, that I can get a good indication. Okay, they're gonna give me high hat. So I gotta be able to drop back in coverage or play my man, or being ready, because I don't know what the tight end or running back may do. So reading those indicators and understanding my assignment, and then for run, I look at running back alignments. Most of the time, if a running back is in a W alignment, it's gonna probably either be a RPO or it's gonna run play. So I need to understand to get downhill and fit my gap or fit my person to either box it or spill it to the other players, or either make the play. So for me, I just look at the O-lineman and those aspects of, because like I said, they give it away especially as the game goes on. They give away key indicators because they get tired, so they just rely on certain things that they always do. So I just look at that.
So the game ain't just physical, it's mental, and you looking at body language.
Oh yeah, I look at all that. For me, it's more so the mental aspect, because I can already beat you mentally. I know I'm gonna get to the plate, and like I said, that second level, I move fast in the box. So to understand those, it just helps me play even faster.
So like, describe your mentality, what's going on when, like, say you're on the right side of the field, but the play kind of develop on the left, and you trying to get over there quick. Like, what do you think?
I'm thinking get to the ball, because as a defense, we always harp on getting 11 hats to the ball. So like, even pre-practice, we working on pursuit drills. So to be honest, like say, it becomes second nature for me to just understanding like I got to get to the ball, because you never know what can happen to the ball. It might be a fumble, once you get there, you could a tip pass, like you just never know. So I just think get to the ball and, you know, like I say, I could go end up making a play, or you know, missed tackles happen. So just to be that extra defender, you know, just making sure I get to the ball and just making an impact when I get there.
So you never give up because you never know what can happen when you get to the ball, right?
Yeah, you never give up because, like I said, you got to be able to finish plays, and I want to be able to finish all the plays.
All right, Kalen, you've shown speed in open field. How do you train to maintain closing speed while staying disciplined in your tackling angles?
For me, I always make sure I focus on the inside hip. So I always work inside out. So for me, when I make my pursuit angles, I'm always tracking the inside hip because I'm playing the cutback. Like I want you to run to the sideline because that's the extra defender for me. So I just track it inside out and just keeping my pursuit strong and using my speed to the best of my ability and don't let it cut back. But if it does cut back, make sure it cut back to everybody else that's pursuing. But I would just continue to work on inside out. Just working on those drills and make sure I stay inside, stay square, and then when I see it, just the trigger and be confident when I do.
So in football, man, you got 11 guys on the defense, right? So it seems like it's a big game, but not only the mental side, but the communication with the other 10 guys, right?
Yes, sir.
What happens when you got a guy on the team that may not be communicating or receiving information like you guys? Like, how do you adjust as the captain or the leader of the defense?
I say for me, if the guy's not communicating like on that drive, I come back to the sideline and just tell him, let me hear you, let me understand that you just give me an indicator that you there, and that you picking up on what we're doing, and just because that'll just help us play confident all together and help us play fast. So it's not a factor of I don't get on you while we on the field or on the drive because I know it can get frustrating. But it's definitely something we're going to talk about when we get to the sideline and making sure we're on the same page. Because the same page is the right page. So I want to make sure you confident in what you're doing to help the defense. So like I say, it's not going to be a conversation to where I'm getting on you. But it's just going to be a conversation so we both understand each other. And we understand what our job is in the defense and that, communication does help.
So, Kalen, I see that you were the 2023 Florida State Defensive Player of the Year, one of them. Anyway, along with Jared Verse, right? Who's currently with the Rams?
Yes, sir.
Okay. From a leadership perspective, man, like, how were you able to get that award? Like, what type of leadership qualities do you have and for them to give you that, man?
I say I lead by example and I lead vocally. I'm a guy that wants you to be your best. So every day in practice, I'm pushing you to be your best and just be the best player you can be. So. And then, like I said, my job as a linebacker is to be vocal itself. So understanding that my voice is going to be heard, whether it's on the field or off the field, because like they got to listen. So like I say, whether I'm making checks or whether I'm trying to put you in position to make a play or we just hang out. So I build that relationship off the field as well. Because we hang out. We may go to dinner. We may go to the arcade games or some stuff like that. Because I want you to be able to be comfortable with me when we do get in the heat of moments. And you understand that it's not a session of me getting on you, it's just a session of me, trying to be our best and make sure you being your best in that aspect.
So in 2023, man, you had a high year. You also got first team All ACC on defense, right?
Yes, sir.
So okay, players are getting awards like that because they're showing what? Like, how'd you get that?
I say just making plays. When my number is called to go out there and make impact and game-changing plays. And just like I said, making sure I'm being that leader on the field and making sure I'm running to the ball. And that's really how it comes because like I said, you never know what can happen. So just to be there and making sure I'm in shape to get to the ball and make extended plays and just being a leader all around. I feel like it showcases on the film. So like it's no ifs, ands, or buts about who should get certain awards. So I just made sure I put myself in the best position and put my teammates in the best position and just showcase talents all across the board.
So okay, when things are going great, you're up, you're winning, the crowd's going crazy. Like when it was at FSU doing the chant and everything's lovely, right? But when y'all were in Death Valley in Clemson 2023, and you made that epic play on Cade Klubnik. I think I pronounced his name right? So y'all were down though, right? So when things aren't going well, like what is your mentality? How do you adjust to get things back on track?
To be honest, just to be trust our training, trust that we built for moments like these, and understanding that it's a game of 60 minutes. So they may come out hot the first half, but we got to make adjustments and be who we are coming out the second half, and being confident in who we are and what we capable of. So I think our mindset was just go out there and be dominant. Go out there and do whatever it takes. We don't care how it look or what it takes, just to make sure we be dominant and consistent. Like consistent with communication, consistent with our alignments, consistent with our jobs, and just making sure we be physical and doing all the little things that that we need to be corrected. So just to focus on the little things, and like I say, just be dominant in every aspect we can.
Okay, Kalen, which coverage responsibilities, man, zone, match concepts, do you feel most comfortable with, and why?
I say I'm most comfortable with the man and match concepts. Through my college career, that's really what we played. So I think I'm very confident in those coverages. But I also learned to play zone throughout third downs or first down. So I understand every concept of when it comes to coverage. But I think my strong suit is when it comes to man and match concepts, because like I said, I'm able to pick up on certain routes. I'm able to pick up on certain people, or just I'll just be dominant on my man, making sure he doesn't catch the ball, or making sure the quarterback doesn't target him. So I feel like all three I'm capable of doing, and I'm strong in the man and the match concepts.
How do you adapt your game when facing mobile quarterbacks compared to pocket passers?
For me, like when I watch film, I definitely look at how the quarterback is. So like even when we played LSU, I understood, okay, Jaden Daniels, he's gonna be one of those running quarterbacks that can get out the pocket and extend plays. So understanding that I may have to be that spy, I have to cut my jets on, and being able to make plays through that, making sure they don't extend the play too long, making sure we can get them to the ground. Rather than a pocket pass, he just gonna sit back in the pocket and wait for something to develop, rather than running and trying to make a play. So I feel like the pocket passes are a challenge to a certain extent, because they have, obviously they're pocket passes for a reason, because they're able to throw the ball. But if we're able to get pressure, then it makes them uncomfortable. And I feel like that's we did a good job of that, making pocket passes uncomfortable, moving off their spots, and just trying to make plays that they usually don't make. So this off season was building my weight and continuing to be working on my hips and being fluent. Like I said, I want to be confident when I'm out there, and I want coach to be confident when he does put me out there, to go out there, do what I'm capable of doing at a high level.
So you went to the combine, NFL combine, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was out there in the audience too. I don't know if you saw me, but I was out there. So what was your weight at the combine?
My weight at combine was 210.
Okay.
Combine. Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your current weight right now?
Right now I'm 226.
Okay. So you still got the side-to-side line speed and everything?
Yes, sir. That's also what I've been focusing on. Being able to maintain my speed with the weight, and also being able to be more explosive from the sideline to sideline aspect. Through my lateral game, and working downhill, and like I say, just being able to maintain my speed, but also be explosive in certain movements.
Okay. So what was your 40-yard dash speed?
My first one was a 4.52, and then I came back and ran a 4.47.
Now, legend has it that if you run 3 or 4 times, I'm gonna tell you who I heard this from. Yeah, they said you got to like 4.3 one time, 4.3 something. Is that true?
Yeah, I think I could have got that. Like even when I'm still training now, my coach said I left it on the table. Like he said I could have ran the 4.3, but I just went out there and did what God wanted me to do that day. Just build off of it. Continue to build off of it, and like I say, getting better off of it.
So explain to me, like during the game, I always heard them say that, okay, Jerry Rice didn't have Deion Sanders' speed, but in the game though, he was fast. Like what does that mean when they say stuff like that?
Some people, you could definitely tell the difference. Some people definitely have game speed to where, like, if they catch the ball or something, nobody on the field is catching them because of their stride length and that adrenaline. Rather than how some people may be fast or like you say running 40s or running 100-yard dash because they train for that type of race. They understand the way to run and how to run and how to be explosive when it's coming out the blocks or coming out to a start. So, like I say, the game speed is two different things. Some people have it, some people don't. But if you just a runner, then you capable of everything.
Right. So look, I'm an engineer, so numbers, I've been playing with them all my career, right? What are some things that you can't really measure about a football player like yourself, man?
I say you can't measure heart. Some people born with it, some people just don't have it. But I say for me, I got heart. My parents instilled that in me at a young age. To make sure your heart outweighs anything you do, and being able to carry that with me through life. I say it's a big thing, and then passion. Some people have a passion to play the game, some people don't, especially in the big moments. So some people not comfortable with embracing it. So I say passion and heart.
So one thing I noticed when I watch your undefeated Seminoles play Georgia Bulldogs, and what bowl game was that?
That was the Orange Bowl.
Okay, so I saw a lot of the starters sitting out, but
Yes, sir.
I saw you out there.
Yes, sir.
What made you get out there?
To be honest, I want to finish. Is my opportunity in the Florida State uniform. Just taking advantage of the opportunity and just going out there showcasing who I am once again. To one of the top teams in the country. So just going out there for my teammates and making sure they understand I got their back through whatever the situations or circumstances. And just for the program, I want to leave my impact on the program for longevity and just once a Seminole, always a Seminole. So just to understand, when I had kids one day, they understand that I didn't quit, and I wanted to go out there and finish whatever I started and make sure I do that.
Well, I could definitely understand, starting something and finishing it up strong, and even though it was a rough game for y'all, right?
Yes, sir.
You were out there, you represented, so that says a lot about your character, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, Kalen, look, man, it's competitive out there, right?
Yep.
I don't know how many linebackers in the NFL. Well, a lot in college, and you obviously stood out from that, right? What sets you apart from everyone else? Why should an NFL team invest in you? Why should an owner sign that $10 million check with $5 million guaranteed for you? What you bringing, man?
I say I'm willing to sacrifice, myself out there, for the betterment of the team or in general, like whatever they need or whatever I'm willing to do it, no matter the aspect. And just going out, I think what's different for me is that I'm vocal and people, they come towards me no matter the circumstances. They listen, and just to go out there and they know I'm gonna put my best foot forward, no matter we winning, losing. I'm always gonna go 100% because, like I said, you only get so many opportunities to play the game. So I want to be able to take advantage of all of them and encourage my teammates to, while I'm out there, when they make a play, to let them know they made a good play and continue to build off that. And like I said, we got to build the energy through the team because once we do that, it's gonna be, we're gonna go up from there, and it builds confidence. To know that somebody sees what I'm doing out there. So I like to be that teammate to let them know you're doing good out here. We're gonna continue to need that. And like I say, another thing that makes me there. I'm a sideline type of guy. I can play in coverage. I can come fit the run if need be. And like I said, I be physical in all aspects of the game. And like I said, I'm willing to sacrifice whatever needs to be done.
Okay. So, Kalen, man, tell us what your measurables are anyway, man.
Right now, my measurables, I'm about 6 feet, 226. I think my wingspan is like 57. So, like I say, I'm confident in who I am and what needs to be of me.
So what I noticed though when I was watching some of your film, man, even though some of the guys may seem like they might have, physically bigger, right?
Yes,
you were still just getting around them, you were quicker and outmaneuvering them. So like, what are some of the techniques that you actually execute when you're making contact with some players? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for me, I want to make sure I use my hands and my leverage to the best of my ability. You know, some guys, like most of the linemen that come up to me, they be bigger, stronger, and taller than me. So I want to be able to use my leverage to the best of my ability, use my hands, you know, to get off the blocks, or, you know, use my quickness, or like I said, to use my speed, and, you know, make sure I make the play, or make sure I'm supposed to, or be where I'm supposed to be. And, you know, just understanding that aspect of it, because like I say, I'm not the biggest, but I'm gonna make sure I get the job done no matter how I look.
And it sounds like you're always outthinking these guys too. Is that right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, I want to play the mental game. I want to be able to think how you thinking, and you know, understand and read my keys, so I can get a head start and an advantage. Because I know if I do that, you know, I'm doing what's better for the team. You know, either making the play or putting somebody else in position to make the play.
Okay. So in the community, man, the kids love you, right?
Yes, sir.
Even when I was down in Tampa at the training camp, man, there was two little young ladies, I think in the Florida State game.
Yes, sir.
You took your wristbands off after a play against, might have been, I forget, Miami or somebody like
I
that.
think Miami game, to be honest.
And you gave them your wristbands, and when I showed up at training camp, they were there, right? They were like, "Oh my God, we love Kalen." And the kids in Savannah, they love you, man. So, like, talk about some of the involvement you have in the community with the Factory 2.0. Like, tell us about that a little bit.
You know, it's crazy. Like, I still got a picture of those, like, when I gave them the wristbands. So, like, that's even crazy for them to pop up with them. But, you know, I say, my pops is one of the people, is one of the reasons why I'm involved in the community, because, like, he's a person that gives back. So I just make sure I'm involved, whether it's football camps, a book bag drive, you know, whether it's giving out plates, food, cleats, like whatever. So like I'm always willing to do that, and like I've always been doing that since I was young. So like again, it's like second nature for me. So anytime somebody gives me the opportunity to do it, you know, I show up and, you know, give 100%. You know, and whether it's communication, some people might need motivation in certain aspects. So I'm willing to do that. Some people just need the example or see what it need to look like. So, you know, I just show up and, you know, just be who I am, and you know, be that light for them.
So, look, the kids at the Michelle Obama STEM Academy in Hampton, Georgia, they're looking forward to you coming, all right?
Yes, sir.
Also, the Global Impact Academy in Fairburn, Georgia. So, you know, heard you on a little tour. You know, you're using your time wisely while you staying fit, waiting for your next opportunity. But it's good to see you still in the community, being you, and nothing's changed about that. You know what I'm saying? So
It's definitely big to give back on the community, because, like you say, everybody needs those role models to look up to, or role models to understand what it needs to look like. And, you know, I'm just there to tell them, you know, get your education, you know, because without that, you can't do too much. So to make sure you do that, and, you know, make sure you lock in on your craft and understanding whatever you want to do, just to take advantage of it. And, you know, don't really listen to the outsiders, because they always gonna have something to say. But as long as you believe it, as long as you do it, it can be done. You know, I'm just looking for the right opportunity. You know, a coaching staff and you know, a GM that believes in me, and a scheme that also fits, you know, my play style, so I can show you, you know, my versatilities through the game of football, and my value throughout the defense, or whether it's special teams. And I feel like if I get the chance or the opportunity, you know, the sky's gonna be the limit, because, you know, like I said, I'm gonna put my best foot forward each and every day to make sure I'm becoming the best player, but also pushing my teammates to become the best version of them as well.
So, Kalen, look, man, I see a lot of quarterbacks in the league right now that you played against. You dominated some of them. We ain't gonna say what you did to them, right?
Yeah.
But the film speaks for itself, right?
Yes,
So, who are some of the key quarterbacks that's in the NFL now doing their thing that you played against, man?
I say I played against Dylan Gabriel, Jaden Daniels. I played Sam Howell, Anthony Richardson. And, you know, the list goes on, you know, through quarterbacks. You know, ACC, we built those. I see Jordan Travis, I practice against him every day. So, you know, just to get the opportunity to understand the quarterback position from a defense perspective. You know, he was definitely in my corner. But those are some of the quarterbacks that I played.
What are some of the differences that you noticed between, like, some of the quarterbacks you mentioned? Like, when you were preparing for Jaden Daniels or Anthony Richardson, or even a K. Klubnik, right? Like, from a linebacker perspective, what are you kind of observing about the quarterback and the differences between them?
I understand through Jaden Daniels, like I said, I understand he's a scrambler, but he's able to scan the field, like the way he scans the field and digests the defense. I understood that part of him. So for me, I just wanted to give him pressure before he could even make a decision of where he's going with the ball. And through Anthony Richardson, he was one of the bigger quarterbacks. So if he did run, you're gonna have to bring everything you can, just because, like you said, he's one of the bigger quarterbacks, but he also can throw it too. So to be ready for that aspect. Cade Klubnik, I understand, like, when I watch film of him, he scans, the side of the field that he throws the ball to, but he also understands his protection. So that's part of why he's capable of doing that. He's understand that the running back may be his backside protection, so he understands that. But like I said, I understand how the quarterbacks scan the field when they read route concepts. Some quarterbacks may start looking on one side but come back to the other side just to get people off their zones or drops, because they know they gonna have, if they can look them off, it's only a small window for them, to throw the ball.
So preparing for this interview, I was being a little nosy, man. I was looking at your notebooks you had over there, right?
Yeah.
So I saw on the cover, it had like quarterback log. So you keeping a log of these guys, man? Their tendencies and all that? Okay.
Every week, like I said, I look for tendencies through the quarterbacks. Like I say, most quarterbacks give certain plays away with their stance or how they come out the huddle. I understand if a quarterback come looking for how his receivers, he may look on the outside coverage just to see how they align. So I understand that he's trying to scan the defense to see what he may have open so he can get his personnel read. But like I said, at the end of the day, we got to play football, and I use those mental notes in the game as the game go on. If a quarterback does a tendency that I done seen or I done wrote down, I pick up on it very fast. So just to have those notes in my head as I play the game, it's big.
So look, man, I noticed too, man, like your professionalism, how you carry yourself.
Yes, sir.
Off the field, right?
Yes, sir.
And on the field. Like what makes you carry yourself like that? Because you hear a lot of stories out here about guys just getting into all kind of stuff, man. Yeah. Every time I hear you in interviews, it's yes sir, yes ma'am, you're very humble. So like, what designed you? What made you be like that, man?
I say my parents, we always, it was always yes ma'am, yes sir in the house. So I just carry that on to, through my life. And I want people to be comfortable with who I am and understand that I come with respect and I give respect. So like I said, my parents instilled that in me at a young age, and like I said, I'm humble because I don't really talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm very closed off in certain aspects, but I want people to see me and understand that I am a person too, and once you get to know me, I open up, be more comfortable with you once I understand that we have the same values, or we heading in the right direction.